Show, don't tell is one of those skills that will improve your students' writing immediately when you do it. Now, for me, when I had an editor when I wrote my books, and I discovered that I was actually doing this skill incorrectly. And not only that, I was teaching parts of it incorrectly. So I learned so much from my editor, and I want to share with you today what I learned about show, don't tell. So stick around. Hi, I'm Robin Mellum, children's book author with Disney Hyperion and HarperCollins. I'm also a middle school teacher. I teach writing to 6th graders. I want to talk about show, don't tell. It's one of my favorite skills to teach. I always say that, like this is my favorite, but this might actually be my favorite because it's the one thing that really makes your writing pop just like right away. You can really see and feel and be in the moment with their writing. And when I teach this, I focus on 3 things, which are your emotions, your senses, and then dialogue. And the dialogue is what I want to talk about right now for just a minute. So I mentioned earlier that I was teaching this incorrectly, writing it incorrectly in some parts. And that comes from, you know how as teachers a lot of us have this poster that says, said is dead, use this instead. And it has all these words that you're supposed to use instead of the word said. But that's not what publishing wants from us. Said is very much alive because when you put a word in there or a verb or, heaven forbid, an adverb to describe how somebody says something, that is telling. You're not allowing your reader to try and figure out what was going on in the mind of the character. So instead what we do is we sort of vary up. Like sometimes I will use said, sometimes I will use body language or body tags, you might call it that. So you might, shrug your shoulders and then talk, or you might shift back and forth. So whatever it is that you're feeling at that time, you think about what does your body do, and you focus on what's going on with your face, with your body, and with your voice. So you think of those 3 areas, and that's what you're going to do as a body tag before the dialogue. And then sometimes I use absolutely nothing at all. So it's so much better when you can make it flow with a mix of said, body language, nothing. And a lot of times to get that correct, you just have to read it out loud to see how it sounds if it's flowing. But if you say said too many times, it can be just like too much. So what I want to talk about today is the 3 ways that I go through this, these 3 like paths that we work on, and how I use this gradual release model for how I teach show, don't tell. This is skill number 6. So if you're following along, I teach 6 skills in Writer's Workshop. On repeat, we go through them all and then we go back to it all year long. And then I teach essays in a little bit different manner, which will be coming up in the next video. So I'm really excited about that. So let's go to my screen. I'm going to show you how I teach show, don't tell. Okay, so here is how I teach show, don't tell. The most important thing at the beginning is to explain to them the purpose, the why behind it, why we need to do this. And that is because there is a certain role for the reader and there's a role for the writer, and that is to create like a puzzle. If we tell every bit of a story and we don't give the reader anything to do, anything to figure out, it's super boring for them. So a lot of this has to do with having a puzzle. So I always start out with how boring it would be if you had a Rubik's Cube that was already solved and there was nothing to do with it, but how much more we love Rubik's Cubes when they're given to us this way, right? We love that. So we love looking at puzzles. We love solving them. Our brains just love it. We're human wired, just that's what we do. Stories are the same way. So adding this piece in with show, don't tell is going to make it that much more interesting to our reader. So there are 3 ways I do that. We start with emotions, then we go to senses, then we go to dialogue. And when we start with emotions, I have them think about, like, we start listing off all the different ways that we feel. And then we make a list of what does our body do when we feel that. So you could make a whole, like brainstorm all these different emotions. You could make charts. You could do tons of things with groups. Like each group gets a different emotion and they come up with all of them. They put them up around the room so that when they're writing, they can just glance around and have some ideas. So this is what I show them about. This is an example. So they come up for other ways that people get angry. What do they what does that look like? And when you do that, when you're thinking of emotions, you're looking at the body. What do the shoulders do? The legs do? What's our posture like? What does the face do? And then what does your voice do? That's how you can show what a person's feeling. I go through the gradual release like I do in the other slides where we match things. I do a guided writing here where I start off and then they fill in from there. Then they use some emojis, do some emotions, change it to showing words. Then we start to kind of back off and let them start coming up with their own and picking whether they want to do body, face, voice in these 3 different situations. And then the book that I chose to use as the mentor passage for this is Holes, which I love. And there you'll find lots of examples of show, don't tell in the story Holes. So they have to find it. And then at the bottom here, you'll see where they can click on their answer. So it's interactive. If you want to give something like this to them individually, they could do that. Then they keep going from there and they start looking for other examples of show in other books. So they flip through anything that they can find, and there's a hint to look for their body, the face, and the voice. Then we move on to senses, where you try and get them to write, instead of saying, I see this, I hear this, I touch this, I smell, I taste, get right to the senses. Mom pops her head up through the window. So that's what you see. So just say what it is instead of using the word I see. They call it having a filter, where you take that, you don't filter through the character, you just show it. Matching again with the senses, and then gradual release with their writing here with some hints along the way. And another one from Holes about the sense of it feeling hot. They have to find the example of what did he do here for show. More examples from books, and then we end with dialogue. And like I said before, we very much use said in the publishing world. As you go through novels, like anytime you happen to notice that, I think that's a great thing you can do as students with any book that you're reading. Like, oh, look how they did this dialogue. They mixed it up with this and this, and just show as many examples as you can. Because if you say, this is fun, she blurted loudly, that's telling you what happened. But you could say she wiggled uncontrollably and threw her hands in the air. This is fun. So now we can picture that scene completely without being told. So then more information about using action tags and matching, gradual release for their practice, and one more example from Holes. And then in the end, they put it all together and they start writing about a topic of an argument with a friend, and they have to use all different kinds of emotions and senses and dialogue, and this is where it gets really fun. And then I added some stuff in here if you want to use these slides where you could put in your own topic, or you could print this out in black and white and have them write by hand if you want. So I did want to show you real quick that this is number 6 on my wheel of skills. I'm so excited. So when I share this, I have this little hand here and I move it around based on what skill we're on so that we know everything's color coded that I do. And then they know once we get to 6, we're going to be heading back to 1 and we're going to be going into even more depth on voice next time. But all of this is explained in my guidebook. I'll click over here. It's called the Structured Writing Teacher, Strategies for Wildly Structured Writers Workshop. And I have my students lead the workshop. I use scripts and all of that. And in this guidebook, I'll put it linked below for you if you want to come check it out. The introduction is free. You can read the whole entire introduction up on Teachers Pay Teachers. This explains why I moved away from units of study type of workshop to what I'm doing now. and has a lot to do with my experience from leaving the classroom and becoming an author and then coming back again. And I just wanted to show you the table of contents if you haven't grabbed the guide yet. These are all the things that I'll go over, why I did the structure, how you're going to set the scene for your workshop. I hand the keys over, and most of it is run by my students, which is actually, I'm going to give you a little hint. This number 3 is important for my next video that I'm going to be doing, which is how do I do essays? And that has a huge part of it. So I'm excited to share that with you all. Then I talk about what you do when you take the stage as a teacher, how I use voice and choice, diamond mining, which is so key and so fun and just like a game changer, I promise. Essays, grading, grammar. And then I give you all of these lots of goodies for these 6 super skills to work on in your own classroom. I'll put a link down below for all of that. And come back next time. I'm going to be talking about essays, which used to be a topic I hated, but now I love it. You will too. All right. Thanks for watching. I hope that helped.